G.I. Joe fans, Joe Motion Videos 82 here. It is time for another G.I. Joe toy review. And today we're going to be taking a trip back to 1986 and we'll be taking a look at Dr. Mindbender version 1. Yes, Dr. Mindbender, one of my favorite figures from that year. It is so hard to really pick out a favorite from 1986, so let's just call all of them my favorite from that year. But Mindbender especially, there's just something about him. He's diabolical. That he just really appeals to me. I really liked how they voiced him in the cartoon. He was suave in a way. He was very your quintessential villain. You know, he had the monocle, the handlebar mustache, and he was ruthless in a way. So not really, I didn't really pick up the dentist vibe off of him. So he was definitely an evil doctor though. So let's go ahead and get into his background a little bit here. So he was released as a part of the 5th series in '86. He was on the shelves until 1988 when he was discontinued. The name Dr. Mindbender may have been a last-minute addition. This is coming from yojo.com. The earlier times in the G.I. Joe mythos, he was known as Dr. Brainwave. That was mentioned in the comics, issue number 44, and also the Interrogator, which was on the file card of Serpentor, and that was his job. He was the interrogator for Cobra. But later on, in the 90s, they actually had an interrogator that came with the battle choppers, or the battle copters. So they had a designated interrogator. So at the very, so that it does make sense. The very last minute is like, no, you know, Brainwave. What's nah? Okay, so let's just call him Mindbender. That sounds really cool. 'Cause why not? So going further down the page here, there is a variant on his cape, which I happen to have both of the capes that I could show you. One comes with a patch and the other one is a painted on Cobra emblem on the cape. So he comes with the accessories, an electric prod, the generator. It comes with the prod, a .45 caliber pistol, and the cape. And he did make his first appearance in issue number 45 of the Marvel comic series, and there were only seven versions of Dr. Mindbender, which is really unfortunate. He is such an iconic character. Real sad for me anyway. His original retail price was $2.35. So I won't keep you guys tied up any longer. I just got home from work. I worked all night long, graveyard shift, so I'm tired. So let's go ahead and get into this review so I could get into the shower. I smell like a hospital, and so I could go to bed and wake up and go to work again. It's kind of weird, you know. I go to sleep and go back to work the same day. It messes with your circadian rhythm, your internal time clock. It is weird. Go to sleep and go to work the same day. It is. It's a paradox. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this action figure. He is really cool. Yes, ironically I have the classified series of Mindbender as my backdrop. Nice Christmas gift last year or year before from friend and viewer Bjorn Jakob. So again, thank you, Bjorn, for that very nice Christmas gift. So let's go ahead and take a look at Mindbender's file card first. You can see this is how he appeared on the card back. It was clipped right off the front, off the card back there. All right, it reads, codename Dr. Mindbender, Master of Mind Control. Dr. Mindbender was at one time an excellent orthodontist and very kind and honest man, tinkering with electronic brainwave stimulation as a means of relieving dental pain. The good doctor made the tragic mistake of experimenting on himself. He underwent complete personality change and became hateful, deceitful, and vain. Dr. Mindbender abandoned his practice and devoted all of his time to perfecting his digital brain scrambling into a hand-portable weapon system capable of reducing the most strong-willed individual into a cowering wimp. Down here reads a quote, Dr. Mindbender doesn't think he's deluded. He feels he used to be. Now that he has seen the light, or the dark, if you will, he feels it is his personal mission to bring the miracle of thought control to each and every one of you. Okay. So he pretty much wiped his nose on the Hippocratic Oath. Turned it into the Hypocritic Oath. Rule number 1 in the Oath of Hippocrates, I shall do no harm. Okay, so here is the generator. It's supposed to lay flat on the ground. This is what produces the electric current, which plugs into his prod. This was one thing we never really played with as kids because it was cumbersome. It was cool. I think my friend John and I played with it once, but it just got set off to the side and it was forgotten about. But it has very nice detail on it. Kind of looks like an old record player to me. The turntable right here and all the dials and stuff. But here is the cattle prod, or the electric prod. Really lackluster. Not a lot of detail to it. And of course it came with your typical mid-80s rubber hose, which they started using as opposed to the little plastic wire that they had at the beginning of their series, which is a nice change. And he came with this white pistol, which is described as a .45 caliber. Again, this is pretty lackluster, not a lot of detail to it. Nonetheless, he does have a nice little sidearm. All right, so taking a look at both of his capes, you can see a big difference. The one on the right is the patch. The one on the left is the one that is painted on. The only one I had exposure to as a kid was the one that was painted on. I've never saw the one that had the patch. This is the one that is a little more sought after because it was the first release, and it's a limited. There were a limited number of them because it's glued on and it comes off really easy. Which I, oh, he just took a nosedive. Which I have one right here that people are selling them by themselves. So they it just glues right on. And I also noticed that this cape is a little heavier fabric. It's a little heavier velvet, and it tends to roll up. Form BX257 had a little tip to straighten these out. Put it in hot water and stick it in between two books, and that should iron it out. Don't use a hot clothes iron on it, because it will, or it could melt it. He is pretty loose. His O-ring needs changed, but this one, the fabric is much different. It's a lighter, thinner fabric. So looking at Mindbender himself, you can see that this one on the left is starting to yellow a bit. The flesh tone is yellowing, and his purple pants are starting to yellow. So we'll look at this nicer version. So he is shirtless. He has these metal suspenders. He has these purple gauntlets with little spikes on them, if you would. I think these are really cool. I really love the purple and black. It's a nice contrast. Here on the back, he has a Cobra sigil up on his suspenders, and a armored codpiece here on the front. They really went weird with this one. Quite interesting figure. Why he is shirtless, I do not understand, but it makes him more sinister. Even, you know, the bald with the handlebar mustache, that was your typical tough guy look back in the 80s, like the bald Nazi that Indiana Jones fought in the Raiders of the Lost Ark. He had the handlebar mustache. You see he has a monocle and very furrowed brow. Purple pants. He also has another pistol sculpted on his leg. He is wearing, these are called cavalier boots. These are riding boots for riding horses. He has metal stirrups on, and these are done up in the silver paint. And by this time they had the silver paint, the formula perfected to where it didn't rub off real easy. So all in all, it's a very nice design. I love the color palette to him. The purple and black is always a nice contrast. It complements each other. It gives him a sinister look, and that I really like for a villain. The purple and black, definitely. But you know, it's sad that it has to yellow. It's just another one of those things, you know, aging of our toys. Depressing. Alright, so there you have it, guys. Dr. Mindbender. Let me know what you think about Dr. Mindbender. Did you have him as a kid? Do you have him now? Did you like him better in the comic book, how they had him portrayed in the comics, or did you like him better in the cartoon? He played he had a very important role in the Cobra organization. Destro kind of took a step back when they introduced Mindbender into the cartoon. That's something I really looked into, as he showed up in the Arise Serpentor Arise miniseries. That's when all the 86 figures made their debut. He had the epiphany, the dream about creating Serpentor. So he 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 was a part of Cobra's hierarchy. He was a commanding officer up there with Baroness Destro, Cobra commander, and so Destro, Baroness, and Mindbender, of course, they all got in cahoots and sprung a coup against Cobra commander because of his buffoonery and tried to oust him and got in Serpentor. But throughout the series, I noticed that Destro became less and less prevalent in the cartoon, and they had Mindbender more and more in there. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on this. I'm very interested to hear about that, and just your opinion on this figure. Some people just, I've talked to others about him growing up, and they just thought he stunk. They just did not like him because he wasn't military enough. But it's Cobra. You know, they weren't your typical military. So I think he's awesome. So, you guys, anyway, thank you for stopping by. Thank you very much to my new subscribers, and if you haven't done so, please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when I upload my next video. Until then, you guys stay safe, be kind to yourselves, be kind to everyone, and be kind to your animals. I know nothing but unconditional love, and we'll see you next week for another G.I. Joe toy review. And if you have an idea for another a review, leave it down in the comments. I do answer back, and if I do have that toy, I will be happy to review it for you. So until then, take care. Bye-bye. Oh, come on.